Hi guys, welcome to the video. This is part 2 of our garden party series this year, and I feel like this video has taken quite a while to get together. In this video you're going to see snippets of the garden from the middle of May until now, and all of the things that I kind of sketched and saw, and things that we're going to be sketching in the future. The video has had a lot of little clips everywhere, so it's been quite hard to find them and compile them and kind of prepare it all, so hopefully it works okay. But you can see here where we left off, kind of the garden the last time, the magnolia trees had been there, and so this was just the last kind of remnants, which actually is really still quite beautiful. You get the kind of more olive greens, the other greens on the trees around are coming out, and yeah, just like slight little pops of pink. So that's actually the last thing that I have painted in this pile, but you can see this pile is going to be kind of like a sketchbook tour today. So last year I was using the Arches cotton sketchbooks for this type of sketching, and this year I've decided to use these Italian cotton papers, and I will link where I get them from below. And I decided against a sketchbook for this year because once I start one I kind of like to finish it, and I thought this year I might not have that much time to do these, so I wanted to just give myself just that freedom of, if I only do a few, that's fine. But you can see here, like, I've kind of put them into piles of the different types of paintings, and I think there's 32 or 33 all up. But these are basically 5 to 20 minute sketches. I don't generally take more time than that, and it works out at about 1 and a bit every week for the first half of the year. So I don't necessarily paint every day, but I do like to try and do these small sketches, and we'll actually talk probably a little bit in a video coming up about sort of sketching on location. And I started that, well, a few years ago, but last year I started just doing these really small sketches and seeing kind of what could come of that, and I was really happy doing that. So yeah, that's what I'm kind of continuing here with these ones. So I just have this pile kind of loosely bound with a ribbon, and again I'll link the shop I get the silk ribbons from. And yeah, the first one here, I didn't do this to begin with, but I wanted to kind of put something really nice on the top of the pile. So somewhere in April I did that one of a really nice sky, and we had been seeing birds flying everywhere, so I kind of did those carrying garlands. And I think the first maybe 4 or so of these you have seen, but these two were landscapes. I wanted to do a moody night one, and the other one was just really about, there was a stormy sky, but I wanted to show the little bit of blue. This one here, the magnolia tree was just blooming, and it was a snowstorm, and it was really beautiful, so I just wanted to kind of quickly capture that. I'm almost treating this as like a visual journal for the year as well. So this one here, you would have seen in the last video, I made a print of the tree, and this was the first time I kind of started doing this method, and we will do some more of that on the channel. This one as well, I did a watercolor, a quick watercolor of the tree. So, and I remember those days were so cold still. These ones here, so this is kind of the ghost print. This one here is the gouache print. Again, I tried that, the method, I think I did it before, and I didn't like how it turned out, so I had kind of painted over it. So I tried again. I'm still not thrilled with it, but I think I'll just keep plodding along with that. And so this was the first time I tried it. You would have seen in the last video, and then I kind of just painted and kept kind of painting this. And what I just kind of came out with at the end was I really liked the colour scheme, and I started thinking about seeing the little bits of colour that I saw, can I put them and incorporate them into the painting in a different way. So little bits of purple that may have been in the flowers, I was putting them in the tree trunk, and just really wanting to create the softness of the tree. So I didn't put any of the kind of darker greens in. I wanted to keep the background really kind of translucent and beautiful, soft. And I also, you can see, put like some of the sparkle in the grass there. So I really was pushing the limits here on these next few. I'm thinking about the landscape figuratively, but I'm also kind of seeing what else I can kind of incorporate. This one here, the tree kind of, the magnolia tree through these two really large trees was just a really beautiful way to frame it. So I wanted to think about that. This one here, the trees were just kind of coming out the green. It was so chartreuse and really beautiful, so I wanted to capture that. And then the next one, the trees were really lush and green and dark, and I felt like it was just a day or two later, but then when I checked the dates, it was actually about a week later, and the whole kind of green situation had changed, and so it changed the entire kind of way that you saw this landscape. So this next one was later on this same day. There was a storm coming in and the sky was golden. It was kind of ending up the day, and I also used some of the light leak techniques we used in the landscape course. So I really loved doing this, and I feel like I need to do some more of that. But yeah, that was a really interesting and different way to kind of think about it. And then this is just a beautiful purple tree. So this was not the magnolias, but this little other tree that kind of just had purple leaves, but you could see like the little flowers in the grass, and there were little yellow flowers. Partly when I am doing these sketches, I'm thinking about actually sketching and drawing, and partly I'm using them kind of as colour studies. So, and through the video you'll see a little bit more about how some of these came about. But this one here was sketching the tulips. I was watching this tulip for a few days, and it was just sort of blooming and opening, and I wanted to kind of paint that one morning. So I did the first one. I wasn't thrilled with it, so I did another one really quickly, and I liked it a lot better. So this next one is that landscape again with there was just like half of the sky was in kind of storm, and the top of it, and there was this little kind of patch of blue and some clouds through there. So, and again, like birds just flying everywhere. We have barn swallows and song sparrows. I think that's right. So they're just always going everywhere. So this one is a oil pastel print on watercolor, and we did this one in the last video, which was the favorites for the year. And then this was the first time I tried to kind of sketch this really beautiful pale iris, which you'll see through in the video. And I wasn't that happy about it, but yeah, anyway, it's you've got to kind of start somewhere. So this was this beautiful, really, really large, dark purple tree. And I just, again, wanted to sort of put something down about that. Some of this is also kind of for me to remember to think about it more and develop it a little bit more. So this one here, you can see like sometimes I'll put colour notes on the back. This one was, the sky was so pale and just really beautiful, and these soft clouds coming in, so I wanted to paint that really, really delicately. This one here, again, you'll see a little bit through the video. The these anemones bloomed, and I felt like it was probably the last day to try and paint them, so I yeah, just took a few moments there. And I think this one as well, I added a little bit more when I came inside. A few of these I will do outside and then maybe polish them up a little bit when I come in. But one of the things this has also helped me do is prepare for the videos that we're going to do soon. So this one here I did outside and I lost the footage, but I basically sketched this and did some masking fluid outside, and then on another day I painted it. So this one here is interesting, and there we had an iris on Mum's windowsill, and I was sitting across the room and I couldn't really see it very well. So I grabbed some of her watercolors and just painted sort of very quickly and loosely what I could see. And that was a really interesting way to think about that. So we'll do some more of that in the videos as well. It's a wonderful way to warm up and to also just use colours that you may not, just sort of unusual colours, and try different things. Yeah, this next one here is the second attempt at this little iris, again, that you will see. And again, this was like the end of a day, and I just really wanted to try some different colours, so I was quite a lot happier with the colouring in this one. Not necessarily like the, sketch and everything, but just the colouring. Sometimes it can be quite frustrating to not be able to paint what you are thinking you want to. So again, just breaking it down into these tiny little things. Like again, this was another one. I saw this little iris in the garden, and I took just a very quick 30-second note of the way the leaves were, the petals were kind of turning. And that is actually what I'd used for that prior one. But yeah, you can see, so out of all those, these were my 4 kind of favourites. And I think it is interesting to then kind of think, okay, I can develop those, or how can I develop those? And so I actually did a few more this week, so I'll show those at the end. You can see here as well these 3 landscapes I really like, and I want to kind of try and make a series of paintings sort of with these in mind. I think you can kind of see from this footage how that was inspiring me. But yeah, it was so lovely. You can see even like the day was quite stormy, which really made this kind of dramatic backdrop, and this beautiful kind of indigo that played against the pinks and the mauves, and yeah. So this was the kind of the latter end of the tulip season, and it was actually quite sad to see them go. So yeah, but there you can see like all the greenery was coming in. So I mean, it's so interesting how the landscape just completely changes within a matter of weeks. And suddenly, like all this kind of just barren land is just so lush with foliage. It's really beautiful. I was also really interested watching the kind of these last few tulips and how the shapes were changing, and these create some really interesting kind of like compositional elements for paintings as well. So I wanted to get as much of that in as I could as well. And also to show you, like, if you have flowers or you see something and it's not necessarily back where it was in its like most pristine form, you know, that's not like embrace whatever you kind of are seeing in front of you is what I'm saying. So maybe you really wanted to sketch something but you didn't get to it in time. There will be something beautiful about what you're seeing now, so try and yeah, just enjoy that part of it. I had been wanting to get to sketch some of these and I hadn't had a chance. So this was the last kind of day they were on the kitchen bench. And so I just brought out some pastels and this pastel mat. And I think I'd also been watching Ken Doan painting and just Monet, like some of the Impressionists. And so I was thinking about that as I kind of did a few pastel sketches. Kind of did that first one just as a reminder of where I was and what I was doing. And then this is the book where I've done a couple of cloud studies in. So you can see that I had left that first page blank and then I went back and just kind of filled it with that. I also touched up a couple of these. Sometimes like when I'm flipping through sketchbooks and doing something else, I'll like just add or, you know, change something about a different sketch that's in there as well. So this flower here, I was thinking again about this kind of way of diffusing and diffracting the colour. So I was seeing like, you know, how would that work with kind of my way of working. So I really enjoyed this and we will definitely do some more of this in the upcoming videos as well. I used pastel for this, but this would also work, I think, in a way with watercolor. We'll try a few different things in different ways to do some of these techniques. You can see for this one as well, I didn't put a base layer of colour down. I just let the white shine through as well. So there's, again, different ways to think about that. Like for this one, I put the background in around the flowers. But sometimes I will put down a layer of colour. Like for the clouds, I put down a layer of colour first. But yeah, this was really, really interesting and very enjoyable to kind of think through this process of not exactly replicating the colours that you see and not exactly kind of breaking them up in a way. Or like maybe more using fragments of colour along a line. So instead of just doing kind of one line of colour, creating different fragments of colours along that line. So yeah, really, really interesting and nice. So you can see here, like it's the garden is coming to an end here. Again, we had so much rain, but I was loving the kind of rain on the petals and almost the translucence of the flowers. Yeah, this was the first time we got these type of irises, which was just so beautiful. The colouring, we were really shocked by it. You can see again, like I just did a tiny little quick sketch of kind of what was in the garden there. And sometimes, often I'll just take, after Millie's walk, I will take Rosie out just for a few minutes and do something like that. This day was really interesting because it was raining, sort of drizzling, but I really wanted to just sketch a couple of these and kind of just have a look around, get some footage of things that I couldn't get it all. So I brought this Shakespeare kind of notebook out, and I was just standing there filming and kind of looking and sketching a little bit. And then all of a sudden, through the viewfinder, I was trying to put the exposure was making it too blown out, so I was putting the exposure down, and then this little hummingbird appeared in the camera, and I was so shocked. And I was like we were standing right there. Rosie was right there as well. So then we realised we had these hummingbirds coming, and you can see some of the seed heads have been pollinated by them. But yeah, it was really, really nice. And then I think after that we all started seeing the little hummingbirds. And you can see like Rosie just loves coming out and having a little sniff around. And yeah, she's... Millie cannot sit still while you sketch with her, but you can see like the rain kind of on the book there, which just all adds to the experience. It was really nice. You can see here the anemones started as well at this time, and I mean they're such a beautiful and interesting flower. The kind of the way the leaves are more like a herb or something. You can see this is the kind of last tulip that I was really watching the shape, and this is the one that I kept wanting to paint. I had been watching it for kind of open out like that for a few days, so I took some paints out, and I think this is kind of more how the day before it had been a little bit more closed, and I had been really thinking and concentrating on that. And then this time I just kind of quickly painted what I could see there, so I was a lot happy with that. But yeah, it has taken me a while to kind of change those expectations of, I'm not going to be making a beautiful finished painting. I'm just going to keep plodding along and seeing what I can create. So I'm going to not edit the next few minutes of clips so you can kind of see me foraging in the garden. This was a time when I was trying to get the paints out as well, so I didn't do a lot of painting, but I just did some filming. So yeah, you can just come for a little forage. You, what are you doing there? Hey. The other thing I wanted to kind of talk about and show from this is that a lot of the time we can't always be creating art, but there's a lot of kind of build up to those artworks. So I remember it was possibly a botanical painter saying that if she had 5 minutes to sketch something, she'd spend 3 minutes looking at the thing. And I feel like that's just such an integral part of creating art that we sometimes overlook, or we kind of want to rush to get the artwork done. But sometimes just kind of, and especially this year, like walking with Millie has really kind of taught me this, that even though I'm out there and I kind of really wish I could have a sketchbook with me, I'm looking at the way things are growing, the colours that are happening, and I'll sometimes just like think, if I had my paints here, what colour would I mix? What colour would I reach for? And that can help me later on when I go back to paint the thing to kind of remember how that felt and kind of what I was looking at. So some of our plantings have been more successful than others. I feel like the anemones have struggled, and I don't know if we planted some upside down, but we have gotten a few, but they're such an unusual and beautiful flower, the way the kind of centers open out. I often feel like I see the centers and it's like a velvet kind of cameo. That's what I kind of think of. And then the kind of more haphazard leaves. When my mum was looking at them, she said like the sea anemones that she would get as a child, like from the rock pools, it's kind of like the similar to the middle as well. So it's really interesting how we can kind of even see a flower in slightly different ways, and that's the kind of thing that we bring to the art. It's such a nice thing to have different perspectives and to kind of learn from each other and look at things the way that each other sees things. I feel like it really enriches how you can kind of comprehend something. So this is definitely one of the flowers we will paint in the videos coming up. I'll try and maybe do some of them weekly, so I'll try to catch up on a few videos. I feel like we are getting quite a late start to this, but it's just been really busy. So anyway, I do encourage you to pause the videos, either take screenshots or come back, maybe do like a daily challenge this week and come back and sort of paint one of these different flowers each day and put in practice some of the things we learned last year, and then we will, go in and do a bit of a deeper dive into each flower and how to paint it. But I'm also just showing you here, so this is the little palette that I grabbed from my mum's room to do the silhouette of the iris. I wanted something just small that I could hold, and you can see I just put water into an empty half pan. And Mum likes to have the colours kind of in different little tins or kind of out differently so she can pick them up if she wants to. So yeah, I feel like I just wanted to show you because it's kind of a nice and different way to think about palettes. It doesn't always have to be lots of different colours, there's this tiny bit of water because I'm not really rinsing my brush. I don't have to mix things really. So the other thing I wanted to show you about this paper, so when it comes, it can sort of be curved, and I just go around the edges and kind of, because it is cotton, I just kind of bend it back and then it becomes a lot straighter. It does straighten up when you painting with it, but you can certainly just kind of manipulate it like that and bend it nicely so to kind of straighten it out. But yeah, the other thing is she loves this pink, I think it's the Pinks and Purples Van Gogh set or floral set or something. But yeah, so you can see like this beautiful tulip has been pollinated, and the top of it here has turned into a seed pod, so that will store the seeds for future tulips, which I think is so interesting. You can see the one on the left didn't get pollinated, so that's just sort of dying. And then yeah, this is the iris bud, and we were so happy when these started blooming. So these are tall bearded irises from Shriner's Iris. And they're just, I mean, they're so stunning. I will link the varieties and where we get things from as well underneath, or, you know, a few of them. But yeah, this was a day where I just brought pencils out and I just sketched again fairly quickly. You can see like there's lines there where I've kind of readjusted things. I haven't bothered erasing anything or anything like that, but I'm just kind of quickly trying to look at the relationships of the petals, kind of assess the measurements and how it's corresponding to each other. So yeah, and you can see, I don't know, Rosie and Millie always like to sniff the palettes, but there I also, so I did that one day, and then I came back and then I painted the anemones, or it might have been later on that day as well. But yeah, again, it's nice to kind of do a line drawing and then kind of paint it when you kind of have another idea of it. The other thing, some days I would just take out the masking fluid and a paintbrush and a pencil and just do a very quick sketch and put some masking fluid in. Yeah, I did that one day, and then the next day I came out and kind of did a quick watercolor of these two kind of different scenes. Later on that day I did, you can see, like, it was just quite nice, like the little grouping, and you can see like some weeds. We've got to do some weeding in there, but we're struggling with like some things could be like poppies or hollyhocks or other things we've planted, and we're not exactly sure. So yeah, we're working through that. But so you can see this amazing iris in bloom here, and I mean, it's just so stunning. So I had this to kind of do a few different sketches of and do a painting. So I basically did the painting probably in like half an hour. I didn't want to take more time than that. I could have done like more glazing and stuff, but I thought I just want to, again, just keep all these to kind of a, not to be too involved with them. So one thing I did was a charcoal sketch from, again, across the room, so I couldn't really see very well what was happening, which is actually quite helpful in keeping the lines loose. And then this one here, I actually stood in front of the iris and I used the Caran d'Ache pastel pencils. So again, I got like a soft sort of line, but I really concentrated just on the sketch. And then you can see here, like, I started to build up this painting. This is the one I was talking about, like I only did it for half an hour, so I couldn't also second guess things. Like, for example, when I was kind of dry brushing this area on, I kind of looked and saw that there was some sort of little lines going there, but what I didn't look long enough, and when I can now see, like looking at the footage, is that they're actually radiating out from that kind of center, so to the left and to the right, instead of just going up and down. And so, like, again, that's quite helpful. Like, I wasn't I can go back and, like, when I redo this as a better painting, I can kind of observe those things a bit more closely. I can put more glazes on, like the top of it needs to be more purple, but I just did the one layer. And here are a couple of really light pencil sketches from a few days, I think, before. So again, like, I took my time this week to build up to that painting with, doing some sketches. Again, looking at the flower and kind of the ruffles, breaking it down into simpler shapes, and then, creating more complex shapes. So again, we will talk through all these flowers in the upcoming videos. But hopefully you can see from this range of paintings is that it's just as important to do the quick sketches and then to build up. So you can see here on the right is one that I'm working on. I've only just sketched it in and done very first layers. The other thing here that I really loved is this morning the sun was on the petals and you can see the sparkle. So I love that. I love finding sparkle in nature, and like I feel like a lot of the time artists are saying, use natural greens and things like that. Sparkle is in nature. So yeah, it's so exciting for me to like find that and to use sparkle colors in my paintings as well. So yeah. Okay, so to wrap up the video, I just want to show you through the last few of these. So this one here was going to be a background painting for the next one. The sunset was kind of this really beautiful apricot color, but then I just had kind of wanted to leave that there. I quite kind of liked that idea, or like the beginnings of an idea. So I just left that, and then I repainted it as it was the next day. Yep. And then this was you saw like just going out, and again just starting to get down some of these quick mixes, some of the movement of even like the stems and the leaves. Yep, this one here, I love the little sparkle there in the middle. And this was this last painting of the tree was actually where we started the video, and I think I said middle of May, but this was actually the middle of April. Yeah, so and yeah, so I just painted this, but yeah, it was kind of a nice way, I feel like, to round off the video. I wanted to actually do a really large painting of this, but I thought I'll just start with one of these, and it's quite actually difficult. You can see that I've put like little tiny bits of the sparkle, a really soft powder pink, and then like the Daniel Smith hibiscus over the top, trying to get a little bit of that. I don't know, in real life it's really quite lovely, and it almost looks like the flowers are not really sure how to say it, but anyway, I am trying to get that into the painting. And then this is the garden at the minute, and we might also paint this bush just out and about in one of the next videos. So anyway, I hope you have a lovely week, and I will see you soon. Bye.